Hey guys, what's going on? Chris with iNovation Multimedia. We're here at the 2016 SKUSA Pro Tour at the Spring Nationals and here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. Some of you know we sat down with SKUSA CEO and Principal Tom Kutscher at last year's Super Nationals to talk a little bit about some of the things that you've heard or read about. We thought we'd sit down with Tom to have a follow-up interview and talk a little bit about some of the things that may have changed since that conversation in November. Full disclosure, I am still not a journalist, and yes, I'm still paid by Supercarts USA. We're just simply putting out the information for you to draw your own conclusions. All right, guys, we're sitting here at beautiful Phoenix, Arizona at the Phoenix Kart Racing Association, the first round of the 2016 SKUSA Pro Tour. I'm sitting here with a man who needs no introduction, SKUSA Principal and CEO Tom Kutscher. First of all, just kind of a little bit note on this interview. We'd intended to originally film it out on the track. However, of course, with the wind in Phoenix, we were kind of filming it here behind some trailers. So bear with us a little bit on the scenery and we'll do our best to kind of make do with what we've got. That said, we've kind of compiled a list of questions for Tom to follow up on the interview that we did in 2015 in Las Vegas. These are sort of just different things that we've collected, feedback that we got from the original interview, different things that we've read on the internet, and just to give Tom a chance to answer in his own words. So here's a list of about 10 questions that we've put together. We're gonna let Tom go ahead and answer those. So Tom, we're back. For 2016, we're back at the same tracks for the Pro Tour. And there's some subtle changes, like for instance at Phoenix here, we're running the track backwards. But let's talk a little bit about some of the reasoning about why we're coming back to the same venues for 2016, and a little bit about maybe what we can expect for the future.
I think first we need to start out with, you forgot to tell people that it's uncensored. So if you don't like,
I already told them that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we know. If you watch the first one, you kind of know.
Oh, there was one guy that was complaining about the language, and I don't know if he was which school he came from, but the reason we go to these tracks are two and triple fold. First of all, Phoenix is one of the SKUSA club tracks, and we work closely both with IAMI and the Iveco tire, and with that said, that puts them higher up on a list to ever have either a Pro Kart Challenge event. We did the same in Monterey. That's a Pro Kart Challenge event. But to get a Pro Tour, that's a pretty nice little profit. The club will see anywhere from, could be anywhere up to $30,000 by the time we're done. So it's a nice thing to help the clubs out. So that's one of the reasons. But second reason is there's not many places in this country that can host close to 300 drivers, and if you see all these semis that have 5 people in them, it takes up a lot of room, and Phoenix has the room up until now. If this thing grows anymore, I mean, we just went out and actually took a little piece of the track on the top and cleaned it out, cleared it out, and we put 5 teams up there. If not, they had to be outside. So again, I say growing pain. You'll hear it a couple times. It's growing pain. That's all it is. Sometimes this is all new to us. That's all.
Sure.
So,
yeah,
but we got everybody in. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, you've got a growing series. The numbers are increasing every weekend. We come here at the national level. It seems like the number count just gets higher and higher and higher, and pretty soon you might be out there cutting out cactuses.
Well, we actually. I don't think it's legal to cut down cactuses, but if they're dead, you can remove them.
Right.
So. It's a great problem to have. I mean, we got them into a spot where we thought they're like, you crazy, you can't put anybody up here. And now suddenly, actually everybody wants that spot. So it's really weird how it works in this industry. That was just something to save us for the weekend, and might become a pit spot for down the road for sure.
Sure. And in 2017, any thoughts yet, or is it still too early to say? I mean, do we think that these 3 tracks will kind of be the focus for maybe 2017, or do we maybe see a couple temporary circuits perhaps?
I mean, we all know, I love temporary circuits, but temporary circuits, you start out $200,000 in the hole to make it happen, but it's great for the cities and it's great for the sport, and it's what I want to be, where I want to be, and it's what I want to see. But as of right now, we'll still keep it on some of these circuits until we can maybe find something that's just crazy and makes sense to do.
Sure. Next question. This is the hot one on the internet. A lot of people question, doing the micro Swift class. Does that really belong on the Pro Tour? Are the kids too young? The Little League dads, do you get some of that? Talk a little bit about sort of the decision to add that and kind of what the thought is on the professional level in adding that class.
Well, we used to have the mini Swift kind of stuck around, and then we had 20, 25 people all the time, and we shifted over to the IAMI program and did some pretty creative marketing to get the stuff going. Suddenly we showed up at our first Pro Kart event, Pro Kart, which we used to have 20 or so. We ended up with 40. So we had a full event, and SuperNAS will have 88, and it will have a waiting list. But if you really look at the talent pool that's there, okay, hang on. Yo, come here. Come here. Come here. Okay, I need you to take all your kids, Stewie and everybody, and get one block down, okay? Because we're doing an interview and you guys are screaming and yelling. Or go out on the track, or either go to the freeway and play on the freeway. All right, can you do that, please? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, in just my personal opinion, guys, I think if you're going to have a truly professional series, you have to account for the youth talent. That is the future of the sport.
Oh, God, yeah.
And if you're going to teach proper driving, clean passing, stuff like that, it starts at a young age. And those are the habits that you carry on.
But people are saying, are they too young? Yeah, do I have issues with the parents? No, I have issues with grandpas and cousins and everybody else. It is an issue.
Yeah.
But with me, it's a little different. I'm just cleaning house. I just, the guys I have problems with, there's a couple of them actually outside the fence right now.
Right.
We've had to get rid of a couple people, and we'll just do it until people understand, hey, look, this is not a soccer program. We're not going to stand and yell, and what are we showing the kids? So, I think the actual racing career starts here, and it's our job to clean up the little stuff that they do.
Sure.
So when they come out of here or leave SKUSA, that they're prepared and they know what to be and how to race, right?
Agreed. All right, moving on. So let's talk a little bit about the IAMI program. It's kind of the first weekend that it is now, the X30 versus the Tag Senior, and a little bit of a shakeup at the IAMI USA West at least, and maybe some personnel changes. Some of the questions that I've read online are from different people. What's going to change? What does that all mean? Let you kind of take the floor on that and kind of explain to people.
What are the issues? Do you see any issues, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, or just, a couple of people may have, come and gone throughout the company and kind of what the future holds. Let you kind of put it in your own words, but, really nothing's going to change.
That's pretty simple. People come and go all day long.
Yeah.
In any business, so it shouldn't, it should not make a difference at all.
Right.
Who comes and goes. The only thing that happened with this, it was, entrusted and ran by a person. And I think I let them run it too freely. And now it's my job to actually know what part's what, and been doing it for about a month and a half, and I'm one of the guys that actually packages your packages. So I'll pull the parts. I got it set up the way I like it. I got a lot of help from Lynn Haddock from who's been around and started IAMI.
Oh yeah.
And then actually we're gearing up. Now I understand what we need to stock, and we have done more of a analyzing what goes and what doesn't and what needs to be stocked. So, no, it's actually exciting. I'm enjoying the IAMI stuff. I really am, because I don't have people yelling at me, screaming at me, and cadet dads calling me and emailing me and threatening me. It's a nice place, and it's a peaceful place for me to pull parts and send them out.
Yeah, and of course, like any engine, it's a two-cycle engine, so you're going to get the occasional the engine that grenades. That's just part of racing, and I've found a few people online who have been highly critical of the IAMI thing for better or worse, but when you see that online and you see people kind of show an example of a blown engine or whatever, talk a little bit about that. It seems like people are interested in attacking the IAMI format.
Nah, I think it's more of a personal thing. Andy likes to, there's a full-grown guy that's putting an IAMI product up to showing it be blown. I think we have more Rotax things that have been blown ever. This weekend they had somebody, a battery blow up because of the harness, but does it matter? It doesn't matter to me. I don't pay attention. I don't have the time to pay attention to this stuff. Rotax is in charge of their own destiny. I'm doing mine. I don't look back, and you guys want to sit around and criticize, and you wonder why you're not welcome anywhere in this country to go karting, because you just talk shit.
Yeah.
You know, so the bottom line is, hey, the product is great. Of course, it's a two-stroke, man. It's going to blow up.
And racers are racers. People are going to try to get every last...
And they do blow up, and they're like, well, what's this? I mean, we don't know what that bottom end was. Was it somebody who didn't put the oil in? Could be.
Right.
Or it could be, of course, I mean, I moved 600 motors last year. We moved 1,200 motors in the country. Of course we're going to have defects. Of course we're going to have problems. It's flipping made in Italy.
Yeah, but I mean, talk a little bit about, because I mean, for those at home that don't know, the format that you have is unlike anything that I've ever seen in karting, where you literally bring your dealers out to the track to do the trackside support. I think a lot of guys said, you know, Tom's all about the money, and you know, you're minting all this cash and making millions of dollars. Oh, hey.
I mean, what a lot of people don't understand on all the programs that I run, there's a trailer sitting here with over $1 million in inventory, and right, wrong, or other, my dealers walk over to me, take an item that they paid a certain amount for, they walk over here, and they just made money, plus I billed them for it, and they stock nothing. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's too many people out there that do that. I don't.
And the reason why I really want to get to that is you want these guys to do well. There's something, and I'll let you kind of put it in your own words, but you kind of have a very much a bottom-up approach where if the dealer's doing well, then the customer's doing well, the teams are doing well.
I mean, again, numbers don't lie. I mean, we have 260 drivers here this weekend, okay? If I help my core teams to make money, and that's giving them terms on tires, that's giving them terms on motors, that's helping them with certain things, they win. Mm-hmm. They can now come in here, they can, you know, have a product for a longer period of time, they can put it on a car, they can bill it out. The worst thing there is, you know, they got to run and get 60 sets of tires. They run the cart and they're almost broke. How can they buy any motors? So I'm trying to help them, you know, start that. And again, if they're making money, I'm making money, you know, and then everybody's making money. But it's not only about the money, it's making it convenient for them. Having it, I mean, I have to buy more trailers and get more help, but the tires are here for the dealers.
Right.
All they have to do, which is really hard for them to do, is send me an email saying, hey, I need 100 sets, and I will have them here for free.
Right.
But it's a little hard for them to do because that entails, you know, so that's a whole different project, you know, or a whole different thing about organization skills. Really typical, like I said in the last interview, probably what I need to do is sell it for them and give them the money, and then we could do better. There's a couple of here, you know, that just cannot get it together, and it's the same people every single time. But the whole entire business or the vision of it is being able to help them both on the IAME product and on the tire, which are the two biggest, you know, they're the consumers,
of course,
and they're the biggest dollar amount. So that's my game plan. That's how I come out here and I help them out. And they don't pay me up front, folks. They don't pay me. Okay, I have to go get my money. Sometimes I have to go get it and knock on doors, but I have to get it.
But it's something you want to do to help these guys out.
Absolutely. I won't grow the sport because they don't have the capital to invest in these items.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
It does. And you know, kind of, you know, you started touching on the tires. Let's get into that. I mean, this is the first.
And I want to go back to one more thing about, you know, people getting online. I mean, the Facebook and the Twitter and all that stuff, that's fine and dandy, but man, you know, it's pretty poor when you start criticizing somebody or attacking somebody or somebody's product. You know, I mean, back to the motor program. The motor program here is simple. We have a program where you can actually go out and buy somebody's motor, and it's $3,500, or depending what class it is. There's no $50,000 motor. This is not the rich man sport. You know, if you go over on that side, on the dark side, there's 100 people, and they all got a lot of cash, and it's whoever's got the best motor. I said, this is totally different.
Sure. Yeah, the best guy wins. I mean, it's not.
Absolutely.
It's on
That's
talent.
That's what it's all about. It's not about the Prevost, and it's not about the money.
Sure. So you touched on it, but this is the, you know, I guess the official Evinco rollout. Of course, you announced it last November at the Supernats, but this is the first national event with the tires on the karts. Talk a little bit about how that's going and kind of how that sort of, you know, kind of unfolded and actually seeing them on the kart, what that means.
Well, I mean, it's exciting to put a new product out there, but you know, the bottom line is an MG tire, and everybody knows that it's the best tire made. Mm-hmm. So, you know, when it comes to having any issues or any problems with anything, there are none.
Sure. I think a lot of people were skeptical. Is it going to be exactly the same? And, you know, the times obviously show that it is. So,
I mean, you know, again, back to Facebook, Twitter, and people that have nothing to do in their life, You know, sitting around and saying that this tire is faster than that tire and it lasts a little longer, but it qualifies better. It's the same tire. Get over it, man. Get on to something else.
Right. Cool. So, you know, this year, speaking of the Super Nats, there was a controversial decision that you had made at that point, or announced in that last interview, which was the claiming rule. So to kind of dive right into more of the controversial topics, you know, it's funny because, you know, as some may know, Tom's not a huge fan of Facebook, but you know, I'm one of a few guys that help manage that for SKUSA. And the feedback was very divided on that claiming rule. A lot of people were like, yes, this is awesome. And a lot of people, as you know, were quite vocal and said, this is awful. And
I don't think it was a lot of people though, Chris. It was a group of people. I would have to say, if I would do it on the percentage, 70% was pro and 30% was against it. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and ultimately, you know, I don't envy the position that you guys were in, because you had a very difficult decision to make of, you know, whether you continue down this path or you sort of maybe reverse course. And, you know, needless to say, we've kind of put that on pause or whatever it might be. But I want to let you chat a little bit about, you know, sort of why the decision to kind of roll that back and maybe rethink it a little bit, or maybe what the future holds with that claiming rule, and let you put it in your own words.
Well, the claiming rule was just so, you know, with this stuff, there's a lot of politics and, you know, a lot of accusations. And, you know, there was one group of people that were the most boisterous ones that did want nothing to do with it. And they said they would go race somewhere else, they wouldn't race at all. So I thought that was really weird. I mean, what do they got to hide? I mean, I thought this is a stock motor. I understand we get, you know, somewhat close to a motor, but I didn't know we were married to it. So it surprised me a little bit the way we did it. So we backed off for right now. It's not a dead issue by no means. In here, we will have a, you know, if it's 17, 18, 19, whatever it might be, there will be a full claiming rule on all motors. You know, because there's money here is not going to work. There's going to be no works motors, not going to be any IAMIA special Italian motor, or whoever the whatever the product is.
Right.
And with that said, you know, the accusations keep on flying. Well, with that, you know, I impound 4 motors, 2 from one guy and 2 from the other one, and one has been very boisterous and very active on Facebook and Twitter, and what a terrible job.
And let's sort of sorry to interrupt. Let's unpack that just so we can rewind it and give people the full story here. There was a regional race, Pro-Kart Challenge race, up in the Northern California area, if I understand.
Monterey.
And your tech director.
No, actually Willow Springs.
Picked a class, said this is the one we want to do. And it was by position. It wasn't by names. It wasn't by
it was just top 4.
Engine builders. It was just sort of, look, whoever finishes in the top 4, regardless of who builds their engines, we don't care. We're gonna pull those in.
It was not by decal. It was by position.
Exactly.
We said top 4 pulls in. It could have been 4 Sweet Techs. It could have been 4 Darcy's. It could have been 4
Musgraves or whoever.
That didn't come into play.
Sure. And in the interest of not doing the claiming rule, you decided to impound the engines.
Well, I had to, because there was so much junk going on that we have to put it to bed. You know, and people don't understand the backside. It's my phone that rings, and I spend hours and hours on listening to this and who is doing what, and so on and so forth, and customers calling. And so we just decided to take those, and we decided to take them to a couple places to go through all the different areas. And right now they're lying at where they came from. They're, you know, with HPD.
Sure. Which is like, HPD is the people that do the Honda IndyCar program.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the buck stops there. I mean, that is, it doesn't get any higher in terms of.
And the, you know, people getting out, how can it take so long, and this, that, and the other, and poor me, I don't have another cylinder, and I can't race. That's a bunch of bullshit. You know, when I raced, I had 2 motors, 3 cylinders, and I didn't come on the large budget shit. So, you know, they got to stop the bullshit and about they don't have anything else, and they haven't driven since, and they can't feed their dog because I took their cylinder, right? So, you know, it's out of my hands. It's given to a professional to do. We do not come first. They're doing this as a favor, as HPD. The IndyCar program is there, and we are stuck in the middle, and that's why it's taking some time. They're doing all kinds of tests, and they're going to get back to me with a written just a written format saying, hey, this is what we've tested, this is what we've done, and this is where it's at. and that's the end of that. Then the different people can just go on and do their own thing. But don't be surprised if this stuff happens down the road. I mean, I don't know why it's such a big deal. I mean, in racing, stuff gets impounded every day.
Right.
And it gets sent away. I mean, if there's an IAME product here that's going to be running too much, I'm going to claim it and I'm going to buy it.
Right.
And it says in the rule book I can, and I'm going to send it to Italy and find out what's wrong with it.
Sure.
Right. So it's the same no matter what it is, Honda or IAME. So I mean, it's these guys are making. I mean, again, it's the same guys that have nothing to do at home. I impounded some motors. I'm doing my research. This is my business. Let me do my job, and you do your job. Go do your job.
And the net gain to that whole thing is once you get the results, I think that I guess the overwhelming consensus will be it's an even playing field. I mean, it's really, and the juice is worth the squeeze, I think is what I'm trying to say. That yes, it takes a while. You're kind of on the back seat to the IndyCar program, of course, but once you get these results,
if they fly with green colors, then it's a compliment.
Yeah.
We're so fast that we had to, we got claimed.
Right.
That's, to me, it's not an insult. To me, it's like, holy shit. Okay, they're paying attention to me. Yeah, they took my stuff because we're going too fast. Right. Nothing more than that.
Yeah, makes total sense. Cool. So diving into the next question, thought a little bit about how I would ask this, but as you know, when you think of SKUSA leadership, there's been really three marquee guys. There's Don Janowski, who sort of started this thing, and then Jim Murley, both of which have recently passed away. And yet you're kind of that solo torch bearer or carrier, if you will. What does that mean to you? I mean, to kind of have raced under their sort of leadership and to now be sort of the sole guy who's representing the SKUSA brand. What does that ultimately mean to you as sort of just an individual, as a business owner, and talk a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, the passing of anybody is, they both died of cancer, and within about a month and a half to 2 months from each other. I mean, Don had a vision together with his son, because he was a big racer, to do something different, and they started the whole thing, and of course financed it and backed it up until the day I bought it from him. So they were always behind the scenes. But Murley was a different cat. He's the most well-dressed guy there was, and the smoothest talking dude. And I remember racing and him shaking my hand before I go out, and those moments are never forgotten. Pulling into these places, and back then when I had an organization that we were racing all the time, we'd pull in, and this is my family. We pull in, everybody's high-fiving, we're going racing, but it means a lot to me. And Joe said it's the best. When he sold me the company, he said, I just want to see it do good. And I said, and I have faith in you that you won't split it up and break it down and still keep the SKUSA name. And I have.
Yeah, you sure have. And on that note, I mean, we've got sort of I guess when you think of SKUSA, better or worse, you can't help but think of the Super Nationals. It is sort of the crown jewel, if you will. And this year you've got the 20th edition of the race. It is by far the biggest race of the year, I think, by anybody's argument, perhaps even in the world. And this year, number 20. I mean, 20 years of doing the Super Nationals. What can people expect who come to Nevada? And I mean, just what kind of off-the-wall stuff do we have planned?
Well, you can actually answer that probably better than I can, because that's your department. But
well, what kind of stuff will you let me get away with? This maybe a better question. But
I mean, a lot, because we want it to be totally off the wall. And I mean, the first thing that you can expect is to be sold out. Because this is going to be big. We're trying some different things to bring different people in for this event. So I think it could be just a monster. But we want to, dedicate to the people that built this, the people that stood on the podiums, and I think as we go, when we get everything approved, and yes, we can do it, we'll start announcing it and starting the hype. But for the guys that are broke right now, I'd start saving your money.
Yeah. And speaking of sellouts, one of the Pro Tour just seems to be getting bigger and bigger, and I suspect Newcastle will be record numbers yet again.
I mean, Newcastle, everybody's telling me, there's a lot of locals that can't travel this, but we have a lot of strong tag guys there, very fast. So I think we'll be sold out in pretty much every single class.
Sure.
At Indy. No ifs or buts about it.
And I can't bring up sellout without maybe bringing up sort of registration, which You know, you brought up the word growing pains earlier, which I think summarizes it quite well, but one of, you know, if there is one criticism that I've heard throughout the paddock, it's been the registration process. And I think some people, you know, mistakenly think that it's just lost on you, it's not on your radar, but you're quite well aware that there's some challenges out there, growing pains, and it's not lost on you. You certainly are aware of it, but maybe talk a little bit about your future vision. I know you and I have talked off camera. The folks at home obviously don't know, but it's not lost on you. You know that there's some challenges there, and it's something that you're going to improve.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of different answers there, but the number one answer is if you ever got sued or sued twice, you know, to me, if people walked in and never had an armband, I could care less, because that's kind of what the attitude I had before. I'm like, I let him go. But you know, the pizza guy comes in here, drives over one of the kids that should not be on a razor, but is, backs over him, it's going to fall back and down on me. So, you know, things have changed a lot when we register with a package, and includes all their mechanics and includes all the stuff so they can run the credit card. So it gets it gets complicated to get your package, and you have to have everybody there. Everybody has to sign. You know, again, I expected 200 people here. We had 260. We probably had some 12 to 15 walk-ups. You know, with a walk-up, and especially sometimes they're not English speaking, it can take 30 minutes to get them in. So with that said, you have 12 or 13 of them, you know, it backs the whole system up. Yeah, they should be in a different area. We should do it a different way. You know, ultimately my goal is to make this thing full-blown. You know, you take your iPhone, you sign the thing for the year, or on your iPhone, you sign it on your way in. We're working on it, and it's not dead by no means. So, is it going to get better? Yeah. When? I don't know, because every time we test something and we think we got something, it hasn't been perfect yet, but I have somebody working on it full time.
Sure.
To be a fully automated, where you pretty much sign in online and you're done.
Right.
You're walking through the gate, we double check something, and off you go.
Makes sense, yeah. So kind of winding down here, I think we got 2 questions left. I'm gonna kind of set this one up for you, but talking a little bit about the competition, and that's a 2-part question, but the competition, of course, the other national series out there, and then of course the competition for the recreational dollar. So in terms of competition, the national tour is growing, and it's obviously the biggest series in the country by far. The numbers don't lie, as you like to say. Ultimately, I think you could make the debate, okay, there's a battle to be won here, but I kind of want to use this analogy, and I think you'll appreciate it. There's if you picture a bar scenario, a few dudes at the bar, is everybody fighting over one chick? Should the question be, how do we get more chicks in the bar, or do we all want to fight over the same chick? And I guess where I'm going with that is, what can we do to really grow the sport to where we're getting more, for the lack of a better analogy, chicks in the bar?
When it comes to the question of competition is always healthy, but competition is healthy when we both, or all of us, look ahead and see what's good for your business. I don't really look behind and see what's going on. I mean, you know, when you're doubling your numbers at your own Pro Kart Challenge, and then versus their national program, and you're doubling their numbers, they got issues. And if I was sitting in their chairs right now, I'd be sweating, because I do the finances. Somebody right now, no names, is dipping into their pockets going, uh-oh. They're too proud to say, hey, we're done, we're packing up. I wouldn't be surprised to be, you know, if one of these people pack up or sells it to a rich little father that wants a world championship. That's probably the next thing that's going to happen. But the numbers don't lie. Again, you know, we're strong, we're moving forward, we're looking at our thing. I don't even call it competition anymore.
Right.
I don't really know what it is. It's a lot of noise.
Sure.
You know, and it means nothing to me. I mean, if you can pull 114 people, and he had to go in and get the shifter guys, you know, he does. But the thing, to answer that actually got me going on this one. As you know, because you've been around me for a while, if we give away $5 tomorrow, they're going to give away $6. Right? Everything we do is copied. When it comes to classes, they try, instead of inventing their own classes, coming up with an ICC or a ROC or whatever, no, we're going to do the Honda shifter program. Plus, we're going to steal his rules on top of that. I mean, they have no vision. They've never been in karting. I mean, they know nothing.
Right.
You know, they think the dollar is good because they're selling the tires and so on and so forth, but man, there's no vision. They have no clue where they're going. There's no regional program. They have zero. If you don't have a regional program, you're dead.
Right.
There's no way this comes from. So during the wintertime, you get a bunch of South Americans that come in with money, but after that, you have nothing. So if I was them, wow, I bet you see some people are going to start flying, you know, start looking for different jobs. And they, no way financially are they making it. It's probably a personal, you know, check written by now.
Mm-hmm. And kind of assuming they go away, it seems like the next hurdle to cross will be getting new people in the SKUSA program.
Yeah.
And you've obviously invested a significant amount of money. I don't think people realize how significant into a television program to get the word out there. I mean, you can't do much more than what you've done as a promoter to get the sport out to the general people. And, you know, kind of going back to the Avinco thing and the Miami thing, getting new people in the sport, just kind of getting that is I think the next hurdle to cross.
So the first hurdle is we committed to TV. Mm-hmm. This year we don't have a sponsor because the sponsor thought it would be, you know, he wanted to work with both Rotax and us, and I have no desire to do. He thought they had a better program, and I think we both looked at it the other day, and there were 76 people watching the program. So if you and me looked at it, that would be 74. You know, having a direct feed and doing this doesn't pay off. It's grandma and grandpa doing it. There's nobody in the sport or outside the sport looking at it. You know, with TV, we reach a couple 100,000 people and they get excited. You know, the problem we have right now, we still haven't completed that connection with somebody. Where are you going? Where are you going? No, you shouldn't come through there. Was there fenced off for a reason? Was it fenced off for a reason? Okay. Don't come through there again, please. Okay. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, it's, I mean, I guess people, you know, to kind of wind this down, a lot of people have, as you know, criticized you for he's making all this money and stuff like that. And you've spent a significant amount of money that arguably you don't need to spend. People are going to come to the Pro Tour because that's where the best drivers are.
As the numbers grow, and we're getting into 300s and 300 plus and so on, that's when you start looking at, you know, sponsors that want to say, wow, this is the guy, or not the guy, this is the organization that's running it. This thing is really working out good. We want to get behind it, and that's when there is a John Deere or a Rockstar
Sure.
or a Monster or whatever it is. But, you know, when we're fragmented like this, you know, with 10 here and 30 here and 40 here, it takes a while to get somebody to want to jump on this and just see what we do.
But to be fair, you've done your part, and I guess where I'm going with that is I think it's up to the shops, it's up to the teams, it's up to the drivers to say you're giving them the ball on a tee, and it's up for them to sort of drive it home, to promote it to their friends, to their family, to the shop owners, to say get guys at the shop, try a kart, jump in it, you know, just take it around and really grow the sport. Going back to that analogy, get more chicks in the bar, because you're right, the competition. You know, I believe people are going to come and make the decision on which series they want to go race with. You know, to me, granted, I'm biased because I'm paid, but I think the decision's pretty clear where they should go. But getting new people in the sport, I think, is sort of that next thing to cross, just getting people in.
Yeah, for sure, and that's always where we've been weak.
Yeah.
You know, we tried, you know, doing city races. That's how we get people to come in, right? But what we need to do is we need to have a relationship with an indoor karting national chain where we're, you know, like people right away, we're like, oh, what do I do? God, that looks crazy.
Right.
You'd be surprised how many people in this world know nothing about karting. Nothing.
Yeah.
And the first thing they say when they jump in, and they're like, wow, man, what's this? It's the first thing they say.
Yeah. And then last question, we'll kind of make this the last one. With Supernats 20 and the last interview that we did at the Supernats 19, there was some discussion about people who are, I guess, you know, I'll use their word, banned from SKUSA. And you discussed it then, but I'll let you discuss it again, that it's not a personal thing. As a promoter, your job is to get entrance into the facility. And I think a lot of people want to believe that it's some sort of personal vendetta or it's a grudge. And really it comes down to economics and people just, you know, for instance, paying their bill. And I think there's some confusion out there is, you know, if somebody were to pay their bill, could they come race? And the answer is yes. I want you to put that in your own words, but I think people believe that you have some axe to grind or this guy's my favorite of a flavor of the month or whatever it might be, and it's really not. It's about dollars and cents.
Simple, like I said in the last one. You know, that person reached out to me with 2 weeks to go. They wanted to come here. If I pay my bill, can I come? I said, yeah, you can come. We sent them an invoice. Never heard anything back. But I think what I'm going to do is just put 10% on it, you know, for each year, and it'll compound. No, it's just about paying your bill. You know, and back to the Tony Kart thing, you know, I just want to make it very clear, because a lot of people thought, well, he doesn't let them come in. No, it wasn't that. It was they were coming to my venue to promote the Rock Cup, okay? And I have it in an email, and it was copied to me. And all I did is say, hey guys, you're not welcome, because this is my venue. And I have booths that people sell out of. They didn't have a booth. They thought they're just going to slide in and start promoting the Winter Cup or whatever they call it. And I just put a stop to it. Now, you know, Wes Phillips reached out the other day, hey, can I come? I said, of course you can come. He hasn't done anything to me. And I said, you better come, because you got a lot of customers here that you need to support. So there's nobody that's banned. There's people that are banned because they can't behave.
Sure, or they're fighting, or whatever the case might be. Right,
they're out of here.
Misconduct or whatever. But
yeah, that's a whole different thing.
In terms of the you know, because some of the credit, oh, you know, Tom is just strong-arming me out of the business, or he's just, you know, cock-blocking me from doing this or that. And
I mean, obviously, there's a couple series that I've started up. You know, I'm not going to give my equipment to help them out.
Right.
I mean, this is business, man. If Ford comes up with things, Chevy's going to try to beat him again, right? I mean, it's business.
Right.
So I don't call it strong arming just because it's their hobby, or, you know, somebody likes to go and have 40 guys and drink his beer and start a fire and have a barbecue. If that's his livelihood and that's what he likes to do, that's fine. This is business to me.
Right. Cool. And capping it off on a fun note, record entries here as the biggest ever spring nationals, as you know. I know you probably haven't had a chance to take a peek at some of the on-track stuff, but any predictions for who's looking fast out there, who might be stepping on that podium come Sunday or Saturday?
I have no clue, but I didn't even know they were here, because I've been here for a while and I haven't looked at all the lists and I haven't gotten involved on the other side. But of course, you know, our Supernats winners are not to be messed with. Pagano has more bad luck than anybody I know, but he can drive.
Formal looks super quick.
Formal is
Gosh,
just, I don't know how that big boy gets around so fast, and hats off to him. So that's the only two that I really know about right now. But there's some talent here.
Sure is.
I mean, there is some definite talent. I see some people from England, from Australia. Of course, we got the VCI Mexican team here.
Right.
Emerson Fittipaldi is here.
Two-time world champion,
Yeah.
two-time Indy 500
Yeah,
champion.
we
And,
have.
and the best part about that, I don't know if you had a chance to see, he's got a son out there, and he literally sprints as fast as he can into the grandstands with he's got the iPhone and he's got the app. I mean, it's really neat to see someone as a kid that I grew up chasing him at the Long Beach Grand Prix.
Yeah.
He's out there as just kind of a normal karting guy, and I think that's the coolest thing.
It is, and that's the cool thing about the sport when it becomes like that. I mean, it's
They're very human, you know, it's kind of a
very.
word I like to
you
use.
see Dominguez is here too, you know.
Yeah.
Just having a blast. And now you'll see some people around here this weekend. I mean, this is, again, you know, for numbers, we don't, well, if we want to call it like our people do in Florida, this is 520 entries. I guess it's 2 days, right?
Right.
So, except for the Supernats, it's the largest one we've had. And I think it's going to get bigger from here on in. But, you know, with that comes a little bit of headache. And for the people out there, like, man, I'm here to fix it, and I will fix it. And I do take notes, so, you know, to get it smoother and better, but just bear with me, and if there's issues, just contact me.
Sure. Cool. Well, with that, folks, we'll cap it off. Tom Kutscher is going to actually serve some complimentary barbecue to the 260 races here, mechanics and teams. So with that,
600 meals.
Yeah, 600 meals. And again, stuff that he doesn't have to do. You've had some sponsors, of course, that help pay for the barbecue, but just something kind of cool that you do. Just kind of make it more of a fun and jovial atmosphere. So
yeah, I like to see my family and you know, my workers help out, and that they feed the people, so people know that, you know, we don't sit back here in the air conditioning,
right?
You know, counting our money.
Well, cool. Well, Tom, thank you so much for the time, and folks at home, thank you again for taking the time to watch this interview.
Thank you.